Shredding rock tunes, exciting pop anthems, groovy and funky music aplenty to light up the summer, and emotional performances with some surprises. The third quarter of 2023 was eventful, so if you are thinking that there is no way you can keep up with everything, I am here to help you with a selection of must-listen CDs in various music genres by your favorite male Seiyu artists, units, bands and 2D groups. Let's kick off this episode of Seiyu Lounge. Welcome to Seiyu Lounge, I am your host Vanessa, and today's topic is how good was the music released in the third quarter of 2023? As I said in the intro, the third quarter of this year, catching the whole summer, was unbelievably good. There was a lot of variety in the music released, the quality of the music was genuinely good, and the quarter wrapped up with me wishing basically that it never ended. So here are the 7 CDs that impressed me in July, August and September 2023. Makoto Furukawa with Place Your Bets. 10,000 copies sold in 2 weeks. A fun, classy jazz sound that felt nostalgic, yet is filled with excitement for the future while making interesting callbacks to the past. The same booming, powerful and technical performances I love. Makoto Furukawa celebrated his 5th anniversary as a solo artist with the release of the special single Place Your Bets, a return to his origins as a solo artist after a detour into acid jazz and orchestral music territory in previous releases. I've said it before and even wrote it on the review, you can check it on handthatfeedshq.com, that this is a genuinely fun CD. The flamboyance of jazz is there, the decadent undertone is also there. The title track ties everything perfectly with his debut single, Miserable Masquerade, from the lyrics, callbacks, even down to the detail in the music video, bringing elements from the very first music video into it, thus wrapping up the story that had been ongoing for 5 years. Makoto Furukawa appears more mature than ever as a solo artist, now with a different determination, as confirmed in an interview for Lizani, focusing much more on his career from this point on, seeing as singing and writing lyrics has turned into something genuinely fun for Furukawa. When I listened to this CD, and even now at the time of writing the script, I feel like, despite the high sales numbers, it was still received in a rather lukewarm way by international fans. This is something that frustrates me a little bit, not seeing as much fanfare and excitement for what is, truly and easily, one of the best releases of this quarter and of 2023 itself. So if you are a fan of jazz and rock music, especially dark, emo style of rock, then Makoto Furukawa delivers that and much more in Place Your Bets. Gyroaxia with All My Parts. Gyroaxia has been through a weird journey in my opinion. From the hyped-up major debut with Universal Music Japan to being back to its quiet ways from before that. I honestly don't know what is going on, what is the arrangement with Universal Music Japan, but one thing is for certain. I was expecting the band to be more active, capitalizing on how impressive Freestyle was. That aside, during this summer, Gyroaxia released several digital singles. While not all deserve to be on this list, as most of those were experimental and show that the band is still trying to find their style, vibe and voice, there was one that instantly entered this episode and of course is in discussion as one of the best releases of 2023. All My Parts is exactly the perfect direction for Gyroaxia, the follow-up that I have been waiting for to Freestyle, a song that shows the band's maturity and picks up perfectly from where they left things off in that massive EP. While some fans may be expecting something obviously heavy, I love this kind of subdued violence in their music that resonates deeper with the listener and lets the band be more melodic with their sound overall. Kudos to the band for perfectly marrying rock with electronica, much in the style of Nothing's Carved in Stone, One OK Rock and Bring Me the Horizon. At the same time, this is an impressive performance, with Jin Ogasawara performing fully in English with a lot of clarity, making the song even more accessible to international fans. I hope Gyroaxia gain momentum yet again and continue to show me, and I believe many of you, how powerful and raw their rock sound can be. If you haven't checked all my parts, you are missing big time on this, because this is one, if not the best rock songs released in 2023 by a 2D group. Lolody with Nothing. Lolody is a group that is no stranger to impressing their listeners. However, the group has been in a sort of a weird slump due to the inconsistency pointed out by many in ARC. Personally, I felt that while that CD failed to deliver a visceral experience from start to finish, like in previous releases, it wasn't necessarily a big point to worry about, as you can see how impressive Nothing, the follow-up entry in the Think of Me CD series, was. Nothing is quite the broad concept and, even worse, quite abstract to put into the format of music that has to be, well, something. And this is where all my excitement and fascination for this CD starts. There was a massive change from the vocal and composition sides to create something that felt like nothing. That leaves a sense of loss in you after listening to it. That brings chills down your spine. That makes you think after all is done. Takeshi Hama went for a set of compositions that is extremely eerie, has soundscapes far and wide with no end in the horizon to illustrate the sense of nothingness and dread that this CD has at its core. As a result, Dead Sea Note and Growing Nightmare are big on not having deeply layered compositions, instead creating an eerie yet strangely appealing set of soundscapes you will find, or at least feel, conflicted for being so into them when they are all about doom and sadness. And once again, I love the vocals direction for this CD. There are no two performances by the group that sound the same on the vocal end. The lyrical style of singing is subdued in Nothing, in favor of a more emotional yet less theatrical style of singing. As a result, the performances by Toshiyuki Toyonaga, Shunsuke Takeuchi and Daiki Yamashita hit differently in this release. When I stopped listening to Nothing, I knew for certain that this was one of the best entries of the year, one that shows that this group continues to push the boundaries of creativity and performance. Tetsuya Kakihara with Warateite. By now, Tetsuya Kakihara being included in a list such as this one of best CD releases is no longer a surprise. Kakihara has perfected his formula, found his voice, improved his singing skills and technique, and found a sound that suits him like a glove. And he has not failed to impress ever since. This time around, the concept for Kakihara's Warateite is to make his fans and listeners happy, feel loved, feel good and appreciated. He accomplishes that across a set of 6 songs that bring chants, choirs, unusual compositions that defy traditional patterns or formulas, groovy tunes, and ballads that will bring chills down your spine. It is unreal just how much he has evolved as a singer and how much he keeps on pushing himself towards delivering fancy performances that will, one moment, make you dance and the other will rip your heart apart. His unique singing style and cadence, paired with a mature approach to his pop-rock sound, are doing wonders for Kakihara's music. The album starts and ends on the same note, even using similar elements to give you a sense of a start and an ending. You know for sure that the story, the concept in this mini-album was executed to perfection, leaving no place for wonders, doubts, or open endings. The message was passed and the concept was fully fleshed out. Kakihara went all out to guarantee you, the listener, got to review yourself in his feelings and in the stories he was telling. When Warateite wraps up, you're not only left with a big smile on your face, but also a couple of tears and goosebumps all over. While this went under the radar for many Seiyu fans, I can't help but recommend you to check it out and share it with other people. This mini-album was basically really consistent, it has a strong concept and sticks to it, and features some of the best performances by Kakihara in recent years. Sparklu with We Will. Consistency has been the key word to describe Sparklu in the past couple of years. The talented quartet released We Will this summer and, yet again, impressed me. And that is because they brought not only their first subunits, but their songs were also in unexpected music genres for me, while showcasing their improved vocals and dynamics. It is quite satisfying to see and listen to this group improving with each CD release, bringing forth interesting performances, fancy instrumentals that actually suit their vocals, and a whole load of quality on the vocal end. The highlight in this mini-album belongs to All My Heart, and this is essentially because this song is both a cool throwback to late 90s R&B pop, but it is also a fancy take on tropical pop, creating one of the most addictive and energetic tunes so far released in 2023. This keeps on being a trend for the group, having a mature yet fun sound while fully embracing the good vibes of 90s pop and early 2000s rock and ballads. We Will is a mini-album that deserves to be listened to from start to finish as you relax gazing into the horizon. Those are the vibes. Yumu Uchida with Danger. It was released in the last day in June 2023, and as such I didn't include it in the episode about the best CD releases in the second quarter, so I make it a special entry in this episode. Danger is certainly a big departure from Yumu Uchida's sound and concept, yet it feels and sounds really good. This entry is part of his 5th anniversary digital single CD series, and honestly I was more than impressed when I first heard that it was going to be conceptually different from other singles released by Yumu Uchida up until then, and let's be honest, basically the sound had been quite tame up until now and mostly feel good, and this one was nothing like it. For a change, it was nice to have a glimpse at what a mature and straightforward type of solo artist Yumu Uchida could be. Uchida fits this mature, passionate and, let's say, masculine vibe like a glove. Desire, Forbidden Love and Danger seem to work well with Uchida as a performer. His tone in the clean singing parts is surprisingly seductive, which is a big departure from his style, but then again, it sounds really good. He continues to showcase his versatility on the vocal end, mixing clean singing with his trademark R&B riffing and even rapping, and everything felt right. This was a single that instantly caught my attention for how fresh, powerful, and sexy, while being quite mature and proper about it can be. Definitely one of the standout performances and releases in this summer, one well worth checking out, even if you do not plan on getting or checking why Yumu Uchida's 3rd album set to hit stores in November 2023. Cranv with Climb. Easily the big rising star among 2D units in 2023, Cranv has taken the industry by the storm. Their pop sound is fresh. They are doing things on the composition end that very few dare trying. They basically are bringing a unique dynamic on the vocal end, with 7 vocals that can pretty much do everything you want, from rapping to clean singing and highly technical emotional performances. This is one of the rare cases in which fans created a behemoth of a 2D pop group, with not only an amazing seiyuu cast, but also characters with voice tones that feel right in the lineup. The journey for this group has been quite amazing since its official debut early on in 2023, and the series of digital singles, culminating in this EP, proves that this group has everything to be in the conversation as the biggest surprise of the year and one of the best 2D groups active in 2023. Honestly, it will be really difficult for any other group debuted in 2023 to surpass their quality. And when it comes to the discussion of the best 2D groups active in 2023, they are against Trigger, that have been pretty much flawless for years, and Lolody and Anthos, that continue to be on a league of their own. Those are big names to be in the same conversation as, especially in its first official year as a group. At the same time, it is rare to have a group so in sync vocally right off the bat, but Cranv sure has impressed in this regard. With the driving forces on the vocal end resting on Tasuku Hatanaka, Makoto Furukawa, Chiaki Kobayashi and Ayumu Murase, the group shows a robust core that basically not only has power, but also a high level of technicality and versatility. And then, as the final touches, you have the unique voices of Shintaro Asanuma, Ryo Tsuchida, and Kengo Kawanishi that, despite not being powerhouses, they have been showing everyone how talented they are. Cram's Climb is a marvel of new disco and dance pop, a refreshing entry in an industry that basically is oversaturated by bright, upbeat 2D pop idol groups. If you do have the time and love music that doesn't really feel like it is from a 2D project, you'll certainly be impressed by Climb. Give it a shot because it is one of the best CDs of the year. These were just some of the CDs that impressed me in the third quarter of 2023. Thankfully, there were many more that had similar quality or were equally entertaining, but if you pick these CDs up, you'll be getting the best out of the best. Pop and dance music are usually the music genres that have the most importance during the summer. But it was interesting to see that, more than getting plain pop music, we all got funky tunes, minimalistic EDM, and other interesting mixes of pop music with other music genres. This kept the music interesting, and while it is obvious that there is a revival of the 90s, making most pop tunes have the same edge at their core, all provided different experiences due to the great performances or interesting lyrics in each. I've already talked about my favorites, but what about yours? So let me know in the comments which were the CDs that were released this summer by male seiyuu artists, bands or 2D groups that impressed you. Let me know in the comments on YouTube as well as on Spotify. And remember, leave your comments as complex or as simple as they may be, and you can be featured on upcoming releases of Seiyuu Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss the hand that feeds HQ's weekly male seiyuu and music-related content, hit the subscribe button. And if you are listening to this episode on a podcast listening platform, please consider following the podcast and leaving a review. Leaving a review is really simple and helps other people find this podcast and fall in love with male seiyuu artists and 2D groups. I'll return next week with another episode of Seiyuu Lounge. Thank you for listening and see you guys around.